Hi, my name is Eddie Rivera. This is my demonstration speech for English 115. I'll be showing you guys how to do an oil change at home for your convenience, to save time and to save your pockets, save money. Oil changes are an important part of any car maintenance. Every year you should do about 4 oil changes. That's about 1 oil change every 3 months or every 3,000 miles. That's the recommended change. Over here we have a Honda. This is what we'll be working on. And these are some of the tools that you need for a basic oil change. Right here we have the first one, or rather the last one that we're going to use to tighten up the screws at the end of the oil change. This is a torque wrench. It costs about $30 to $40 at your local car shop. This is right here a driver set, one of the most important ones that we're going to use for this, or that we used in order to unscrew the nut in the oil pan. One of these sets can cost you about $20 at your local car shop. And over here we have a hex bit set. They are shaped in like a hexagon. Some cars may need it, not this car, but some other cars like Mazdas, they need this in order to get access to the oil plug in the oil pan of a car. Over here we have the most important part of the oil change, the oil itself. The type of oil that we're using today is 0W20. This is the type of oil that this car needs, this particular car. And the way we know that it is this type of oil is because if we go over here at the engine cap, you can clearly see that it says 0W20, SAE 0W20. This is the way your car lets you know what type of oil the engine needs. Next thing that we need, important thing, is the oil filter. This is the second thing that we remove from the car in order to filter any sediment that builds up in the engine and ends up at the bottom of the oil pan. Inside here there are filters that catch all the sediment. So yeah, this can cost you about $10 and this can cost you about $30. Usually they have a deal at your local shops where you can get both for about $30, $35. The main important thing of all of this is safety, so make sure to always have safety goggles and gloves. I like to use these type of gloves and then move on to some nitrile gloves. It will get greasy, you will get your hands greasy, so make sure to always have them. And sometimes the oils can be hot, so be sure to look out for that hotness of the oil. Next is the way that we lift up the car to gain access to the bottom of the car where the oil pan is. One of the ways is through a car jack, which you can see right here, with manual action like this. This part of the jack lifts up the car by placing it in a safe point or a hard point of the car along the frame in order to lift up the car. Another method to lift up the car is these ramps. These are called Rhino ramps. You can get these type of ramp made out of hard plastic, incredibly, for about $40. These are got at my local Walmart, but you can get these at any car shop for around that price range, $40 to $50. And the last thing we're gonna need is a funnel. I like to use recycled material like this water bottle I drank from. Or you can go this way with a regular funnel you can find at your local dollar store. I'm gonna place this, since I've already removed the nut at the bottom of the car. I'm just gonna be replacing the nut in the oil pan, which looks about like this in most cars. And we're gonna place it back on along with our new oil filter. Over here I have an oil pan that I caught all the oil in my old oil filter. They will always look just about the same. Sometimes they differ in color depending on the brand. And we're gonna jump right in. Over here you find the engine or the oil pan. It usually says engine oil. And as you can see, it's leaking through here some oil. It will always be leaking some type of oil at the end of the oil change. Most of it already got out. And we're just gonna screw this on for now with our hands. And later we'll use one of the drive sets in order to tighten it. And over here, the oil filter will always be right next to the oil pan. We grab our new oil filter and it should always be hand tightened. And always remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Over here, it'll catch on. The oil filter will always be hand tightened, usually. There we go. And now we move on to the top. With everything already plugged up down there, we move on to filling up the car with our oil. And this type of car, our manual says that it needs about 4.2 liters. And over here in every oil jug, it'll tell you how much it has. So this one has about 5 liters or 4.5 liters. So we're gonna do just a little bit below that. Pour it in here, and after this, our oil change is pretty much done. We'll pour the oil, plug up the top of the engine, start the engine back up, and get the oil running again all throughout the engine. If you can see here and look closely at the oil, it has a different type of color. It has a different color, kind of like a yellowish color compared to the black color that you see here. This is old oil. You can clearly see it here. We're almost at the mark. Plug it back up, and our oil change is done.